Okay, so let's talk about that. Saudi Arabia.
Wait, is it recording?
No, we're not recording.
Oh, okay.
Saudi Arabia. How did you get involved with Saudi Arabia, and why do you live? You live in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Why? Why do you live in Saudi Arabia?
I don't know. I don't know.
So in my mind, I think of Saudi Arabia as just a huge desert with a lot of sand, with a bunch of rich people driving Lamborghinis all around. Did I nail it?
Kind of.
Okay, so tell me the good. First of all, why are you living in Saudi Arabia?
My husband's job. He's a helicopter pilot for the oil company.
Is there certain things you can't tell us?
Maybe. I don't know. I'll see.
All right. Okay, so that's
some
fine.
things they probably wouldn't like us to expose. Like, I feel like I better not say it.
Yeah, you better not say it. So
Okay.
I don't want you getting into trouble. Yeah.
Well, maybe he'll get fired so he can move back.
Was it Joe Biden? He already is getting fired. Don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the Saudis don't really like Joe Biden.
They don't?
They like Trump. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. They like Americans too.
Who do they not like?
Biden. Well, Trump, they used to not like Israel, but Trump mellowed that out. And they used to not be able to fly over Israel's airspace until Trump.
And then now, so Saudi and Israel had kind of a peace accord that they came to agree with. And then they're really kind of in fights with Iraq and Iran.
In Yemen, we get a lot of missiles thrown from Yemen.
Really?
And Iran, we're at the beach. We're Eastern Province. So right across from us is Iran.
Ooh. You're that? Well,
Yeah,
I
we're
guess,
really close. We're in
really
the
close.
Arabian Gulf. We call it the Arabian Gulf. They call it the Persian Gulf.
So realistically, actually, your husband is in the CIA,
Yes,
and he
yep.
goes to Iran and does basically what is it called? Jack Ryan. He's Jack Ryan. Is he
Yep.
Jack Ryan?
And I can't talk about that because
can't.
that's
All right. Those are the stuff you can't talk about.
right.
But he's a helicopter pilot. How long has he been a helicopter pilot?
Oh gosh,
So he must be pretty good. Is he good?
I trust
Have
him.
you been up in helicopter with him?
Yep, he trained at Silverhawk, just in Caldwell.
Oh.
And I used to do aerial photography for
Oh,
houses.
okay.
So I would hang out the helicopter and take pictures.
No way, really?
And the worst part was the door-to-door sales. Because then we'd print them out and go to door-to-door. And I was the one that did that because he's
Why
not
didn't
a
you just drop
salesperson.
leaflets along the way as you did it?
I should
That's what
have.
you should have done.
It was more successful going door-to-door and saying, hey. But one time we did this whole neighborhood. It was Banbury.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody had just done it. So I had them.
And nowadays
So-
they do it all with drones.
Yeah.
Is drones kind of hurting the helicopter industry?
I wouldn't say. Not yet.
So what is his main job as a helicopter pilot? Does he fly dignitaries? Like does he the certain company he works for?
Yeah, it's Aramco, Saudi Aramco. It was actually an Americans helped start that oil company probably 50, 60 years ago. And then eventually Saudi bought America out. And it used to just be the compounds that we live in used to only be Americans living in them. But now it's people from all over the world. My kids go to school with about 64 different countries. It's an
Oh,
American school
wow.
in the compound.
So you've lived in Saudi. Basically, it's kind of back and forth, right?
Yeah, every summer we're here. I've been coming a little more now that
Do you
my
have
kids
just
are older.
tons of airline miles?
You'd think, but no.
Oh, okay.
It just depends on the airline, which is cheaper, depending on when.
But you come back for a while, back to the U.S. Your dentist is in the U.S.
Yes. So it's only once a year, which I used to always be like every 6 months. But
Now it's once.
they have a dentist there. I don't trust him.
Yeah.
He's not like my dentist in America.
Yeah. How long have you been seeing me? Long time.
I saw you before you even were my dentist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I actually helped Deborah clean your office sometimes when she was the office cleaner.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
It was.
Was it 15 years? 20? Not 20.
Let's see, I'm trying to think.
17 years? Something like that.
At least.
Yeah.
It was
So-
at your old office.
Right. The one off Magic View. So let's go back to the Saudi. This
Okay.
is so interesting, I think. How many different compounds have you lived in? Is it kind of like, do they say this is where you live? And when we think compound, I'm thinking when you say compound, I think of all these Mormons with all these
Yes,
wives.
that's exactly how it is.
Is that what it is? Is it kind of like a sister wife thing? Is it just a bunch of sister wives?
Well, some because
Saudis can have more than one
plural.
woman,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Is it a sister wife thing?
Some people would say so. I know. So we're in a small compound. There's a huge one about an hour away, which it's like a city.
If you were okay, here's the deal. If you could not believe in Christ, no Christianity, what religion would you follow? I asked that today, and I think I got some really good answers. And it was kind of like,
See, and Muslims do believe in Christ, but they don't believe he's their savior. They think he's a prophet.
Kind of like Judaism,
Yeah.
right?
Gosh, I don't know what religion I'd...
See, this is why these things pop into my head. I don't know.
I don't know. That's hard.
I think the best answer, you want to hear the best answer?
Mm-hmm.
They go, I think I'd be an atheist. Because if I couldn't believe in Christ, then I couldn't believe in any religion. Because then I was like, wow, that's a really good answer.
True, but that'd be depressing.
It would. Did you know atheism is the fastest growing religion? If you look at it, it's actually the fastest growing religion.
Is it a religion?
Yeah, it's a religion because it's a belief. It's a belief. I don't know if it's a belief in anything. It's interesting when you talk to atheists, a true atheist that has no belief in anything. I think that's kind of a sad life to not have a belief in anything.
I do too.
So no higher being, nothing that created. The thought, I mean, if you really think about the Big Bang Theory, do you understand that what the Big Bang?
Yes.
I mean, okay, explain the Big Bang Theory.
You explain it. I just am thinking, I just keep thinking.
Basically, the Big Bang Theory is from nothing created everything. So think about that. The thought of God is one belief, and then the belief in nothing. So if you believe in nothing, which is easier to believe, God or nothing? Anyways, it gets confusing.
Yeah. One time this guy asked me on a date, and he was an atheist, and I was like, no way. Because, again, I feel like it's important to believe in something. How depressing.
Was that in Saudi Arabia?
No, that was like
here.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, there are some atheists there.
Really?
Expats.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe Muslims. I don't know.
So
they're forced in their
religion. Do you see
religion.
the wealth in Saudi Arabia?
Yes, but there's also a lot of poor.
Oh, there is?
A lot. And we see...
I thought that they got, like, it was kind of like Alaska where everybody got a certain amount from the amount of wealth. Like Alaska, you get so much because of the oil. Well, I thought Saudi Arabia was like that. That's not like that?
It is so they'll pay for, like, say if they wanted to open up a shop. So the government will fund that. But then there's different tribes. There's the Sunni and the Shia, and they favor one over the other.
Oh.
And it's like family lines as well. As you'll see some people begging in the streets. Sometimes they have their kids go. Where I'm at, you don't see that as often. But the thing that we see, which is depressing to me, that it was probably one of the biggest shocks of moving there, was they hire people from Bangladesh and the Philippines for their workers. And they do everything for just a little amount of money. And it gets really hot there. And they're in, it looks like prison jumpsuits, orange. So in my compound, there's these guys walking around and they do all their work, pick up the garbage, do the gardening. I mean, people would think this is weird, but we have a houseboy. That's what you call him. And we had a garden boy. That's what you call him. And our houseboy, he's a great guy from India. He's been there 22 years. He has 13-year-old twin girls and a college student and a wife. And so he makes his money there and sends it back to them so they can go to school.
How long is he there?
Well, he's there as long as he needs to be and as long as he can get sponsors. We're his sponsor. But
wow,
we pay him very little. And we are technically supposed to have him, he's supposed to work for us 6 days a week for 12 hours a day, doing anything we want. So when I'm gone and the kids, and he's really busy with work because he doesn't just fly. We can get into that if you want later. But he grocery shops, he does Paul's laundry, irons his clothes, takes care of our dog, takes care of our yard, washes our vehicle.
So
cleans our bathrooms.
I was about ready to say, I want a houseboy, but that doesn't sound good.
Too bad I couldn't bring him. It's hard for me because
to say houseboy.
And to just have him in the house while I'm there. We only have him come 5 days a week for 3 hours a day, and that's like, I almost feel like, what am I here for?
Yeah, but is it nice?
It is nice. I don't have to clean the bathrooms or mop. We have a lot of tile.
So that's a positive. Tell me some of the other positives of living in.
Okay. I have to say this, though. So with our houseboy, we encourage him to have other families, which we're not really supposed to. Because you can't. Saudi's rule is you can have one job. So, and that's your job. But he gets paid so very little, we want to help him out. He's helping us out, so we help him. So as long as we know the people, he goes and helps them since we only have him 3 hours a day. So a lot of them then, the houseboys, only have one house that they work in? Technically, they're supposed to.
Oh.
And nannies. You either have a houseboy, which they live in an apartment right outside of the compound, or you have a nanny, and the nannies have to live with you.
I
And
see.
it's the same thing. They don't get paid very much. Some people will let them help out other families, but you're technically not supposed to.
Wow.
Yeah. Shamim, he was our garden boy. He moved there from Bangladesh when he was 15 to help pay for his family. Poor. And they were building a house. He was building it for them. He'd send money and they'd slowly build it. And then he ended up going back. He didn't get to go home for 6 years, I think.
Can you imagine as a parent sending your child off at 15
No.
into a country like that? That was, wouldn't that be, that'd be
So sad.
So in some ways, is that slave labor-ish type almost?
That's what I would like to say so. I mean, they get paid, so it can't be slave, but it's not enough. And
What's the definition of slave? I wonder what the definition of slave is. I would think that the definition of slave would be against your will.
yeah, and
But they actually say there's more slaves today than at any time in history.
just general,
Actual
like world.
slaves.
Really? Around the world?
Around the world. There's more slaves in today's world than there has ever been in all of history.
See, and I feel
That
like
to me is sad.
some of it is against their will because we have what you call an igama, and that's like a visa. So when you work there, I have an igama because I live there. And so our company treats us well. Then they hire contracting companies, which hire the workers, lifeguards, the garden boys.
Oh, sure.
And sometimes those companies withhold the money and they won't pay and they take their passport and their igama, so they cannot leave the country.
So you literally are paying the company. The company then pays the individual?
For our houseboy, we pay.
Oh, good.
But for the contractor, for like the lifeguards and the garden boys, the whole general amount, or all of them, I don't know if our houseboy gets a little money from the company he's with. If so, it's not much. It might just be, we don't have to pay for his apartment. So it might be they pay for his housing.
So do you have like grocery stores and McDonald's and
We do.
Chick-fil-A's and
Not Chick-fil-A.
No Chick-fil-A's. Oh, okay.
We have a little city outside of our compound called Rahima, and it was culture shock because I had never left the country before I lived there. And it's like in the movies, when there's like the war and you're out in the Middle East, it's like the dirt buildings and it's dirty streets, and that's how it is out in Rahima. But there's McDonald's, Burger King.
So when I've been a lot of places in the world. When we were in China,
Been there.
the one thing I remember was the food was awful. I hated.
Yeah, I didn't like the food.
In fact, Subway was awful. So I remember thinking, and here I am drinking a Subway drink because Subway's right next door. Anyways, I remember going and we were looking for something to eat, and the Subway, the food was not the same. McDonald's is exactly the same.
Yep.
It was, the burgers tasted and it tasted so good because I hated the food in China. It was, bleh,
Yeah,
it was
I didn't
awful.
care for it either. There were maybe one restaurant. And the rest of them, ugh.
Yeah, the best food we had was actually in the rice terraces And I thought, oh, this is going to be horrible, because you walk by and they've got dried rat that is literally like jerky,
Yes.
and bats that they press, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is what I'm going to eat when I'm here, because I knew we were going to have lunch there. So we had this guide taking us around. It's a beautiful countryside, and then we sit down and they had this bamboo rice that they had. It was almost like it was steamed in the bamboo, and it had this like smoky flavor to it. That was fantastic. I remember asking, okay, can we get another one of those? And we got, I think, 2 more, and then something else. And I was like, okay, now this was good food. But for the entire, 13 days I was in China, I maybe had, the best meal was that. The second best meal was the McDonald's. And the third best meal was Pizza Hut. But you had to be careful because you didn't want to order the crust because it had filled corn in the crust.
Oh.
Because you get filled corn, on top of your pizza. Almost all of them had like corn that you would put on top of the pizza. I was like, okay, like, weird. Yeah. To me, pineapple is just good enough to be able to put on a Canadian bacon, Hawaiian.
I like pineapple on pizza.
Okay. I actually don't mind it. My wife loves it. But can you imagine putting corn on it?
No,
Yeah.
but actually Saudis love corn as well. They have
Really?
they go at the mall, there's little kiosks with corn, and they'll just get corn for their snack. And at movie theaters, corn.
Oh, just corn.
Yeah, there's little booths with
Do you
rolled
see
pizza and corn.
Do they have very much agriculture?
Not as much as America.
Well, yeah.
Of course, it's hard. They do have some. I mean, like there's some, I don't even know. I've never seen it, but some of the people in my camp will go a couple cities away to get fresh produce.
Mm.
And I've tasted it. It's okay. The chicken is good there. It's not pumped with hormones, and it's not this big. It's little. Although the eggs I have a hard time with because they're covered in poop and feathers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they don't wash them?
Or they just leave them out too long. I don't know. It's hard for me there, the food.
So what are the things, I'm not going to say that, what are the things you miss when you're in Saudi?
Miss here?
Yeah, what do you miss?
The green grass, the fresh air, the nice water. Our house is old. It's like 1970. It was built in the 70s, and it's really humid there, so we have a lot of mold, and the water is horrible. I brought a tester, and in America, 500 is toxic, like with your the metals and the chlorine,
sure,
and our water was 1,500.
So do you drink like bottled water? Is that what you drink?
There's one tap in the house. It's called sweet water, and it's just a little drinking water. It's supposed to be good, and it actually tested okay, but we run it through our fridge, so there's an extra filter.
Is this why you guys have so much cavities in your family?
Probably. That's what happened with Riley.
Is it the water?
Yeah, and we lose our hair.
Oh my goodness.
Paul, it doesn't matter for him because he's already lost his hair, but every time I go back, wads of hair, and then I come back here. You can probably see new hair growth because I come back here and it starts growing back.
Okay, so how many more years?
I don't know. I would be done.
Okay, when you started,
I said 5 years.
how many years has it been?
It's been 10. So after this year, my third son
Okay,
will
could
be
you go
graduating.
10 more years?
No.
Okay, you just said
I
it.
think it will kill me.
5 more years?
No.
2?
2 at most.
Okay, we're gonna see in 5
Okay,
years.
so it's going to be this year or the next, and I'm hoping this year, even if Paul has to stay for a
So
little while.
what? So Paul does more than just helicopter stuff.
Yeah.
What does he do?
So out of the 10 years, the first 2 years he flew helicopters, and then they pulled him into safety. They sent him to USC, and okay, so it was Aramco, and now Aramco is trying to contract every division. They contracted the medical, now it's Johns Hopkins. But since that company was made, it's just a branch off, although we're still considered Aramco right now. They made Paul, he's the manager over safety and compliance. So he is extremely busy.
So he's a bigwig.
He's a bigwig.
He
wouldn't say that, but
he is a bigwig.
He
Make
can
sure
do
everybody's
that,
safe.
but it's mostly, like if a plane crashes, he can investigate. He does all the investigations, audits. There's, I think like 15 Boeings or King Air. There's quite a few aircraft there. So he's in charge of the safety of all of the fixed wing, all of the rotor.
Which is worse, fixed wing or rotor?
Rotor's a lot more complicated. So
Exactly, right?
yeah, that's scary. And then all of the airports, and then the inspections for the helipads on and offshore. He has to make sure they're up to standard. And I mean, it's a busy job. And if anything happens, he's writing reports.
Has he had any close calls?
Yeah, there have been close calls.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pilot or the mechanics aren't the greatest anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
What is your day filled with?
Oh, goodness.
In Saudi Arabia, when it's 170 degrees outside, it's not always hot.
About 4 months out of the year, it's amazing weather. So, and it does gets to the 60s, but it's humid, so it still feels cold. It's like bone cold. You're inside. It feels like you need to take a shower and have hot chocolate because you just can't get warm.
Warm?
Yeah.
Kind of like San Francisco.
Probably.
In the summer. Yeah, that's kind of the way it feels like in San Francisco. Anyway, so what is you've got like 150 kids, and you got
151.
151.
Yeah.
How many sister wives? Is there 10 of you?
None. It was just me.
Oh, just you.
All natural births.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But you've only had sex 5 times, you said.
Yeah. And then I got the 151 children.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Wow. Now that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, well, 2 of them are here in the States now because they've grown up on me. And then the high schooler, he has to go out of the camp. It's about an hour and a half away to his
So how many kids do
school.
you have?
5.
5. Okay.
Yeah. So 3 boys, 2 girls. 2 of my boys are stateside now. One's on a mission. One's in college doing aviation. Going to be an airplane pilot.
Oh, yes. Yeah. He
Yeah.
was telling me about that.
Yep. And then I have a son. He'll be a senior this year. And he goes to a international college prep school an hour and a half away from our camp.
But the education's really good there, right?
That school is.
Good.
On camp, it was better than it was now. We have, after COVID, it kind of just messed things up.
Oh, well,
And
I think
they're really short-staffed right now, and so it's not as good as it used to be just because the teachers are spread thin. So Hadley, my youngest, she was the only American in her kindergarten class. And then last year for first grade, 2 Americans, because most of the Americans have gone. And that makes it difficult. It's fun exploring the other cultures, and kids obviously make friends easier than adults with the other cultures, but it is nice to have like the same, like, oh, Thanksgiving. We celebrate Thanksgiving, and nobody knew what it was. And
Wow.
so what do I do?
So what do you do?
So the kids, they don't have a lunch room at their schools. There's the middle school and the elementary on our camp. So they come home every day for lunch for an hour, which totally wrecks my day. It's so good for them. If I was a kid, I would have loved that. They just get to unwind and relax. But I feel like the kitchen's a mess now because, you get it clean. Actually, I don't have to clean it up, but
I was going to say.
I used to. We didn't get our houseboy until I was here with the kids with COVID. Paul got him.
Oh.
So,
okay.
and it was really his buddy, his coworker retired, and Bose, our houseboy, was not ready to go home. And so it was like, please take him because he needed to find a sponsor or he'd have to go. So anyway, yeah, so we have lunch. And usually before that, when the kids go to school, I try to do a workout, which I either do yoga or aqua Zumba. Have you heard of that? It's fun.
Yeah.
I love it more than the regular Zumba, although both of my instructors for yoga and Zumba are leaving. So I'm going to have to find something else. I used to do CrossFit a long time ago when I started there.
I love CrossFit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be really against CrossFit, but then what I found with CrossFit is everybody's like, isn't that hard on your joints and your knees and everything else? It can be. And it was hard on me. Yeah. But then you have to learn to be able to, okay, what can you, like I can't do box jumps. It just kills my knees. But it's functional movements and strength. It's things that you're going to do the rest of your life and you don't even realize what you're doing. Like just picking up, like we're in the middle of moving. And so all the stinking deadlifts that I've been doing CrossFit, hey, that kind of helped. So
yeah, I liked it too. You do have to make sure that you know how to lift because I feel like depending on the group of if there's so many people and you're just in a hurry, some injure themselves because they're not lifting correctly. But I don't know what happened. That instructor left. So, and that's the thing is you only have instructors if they're housewives that are qualified. They have to be certified You have to go through, we have a rec department, and they have to be certified or they can't teach. So we had a gymnastics coach. She moved. Now there's no gymnastics coach.
Now, do you guys still have a house here?
Mm-hmm. We didn't. We sold everything. And then when Idaho was getting invaded and
By the cow states?
Yes. And the prices were skyrocketing. And then Hadley, remember she had some issues when she was born, and we just would do VRBOs. That summer was a fortune because we ended up staying through the fall. And Paul, he was at USC, and he's like, I've got to go for a weekend and find a house. And actually, Katie's husband was our realtor.
Mm.
So now we have a house, which is nice to have.
So what do you do with the house when you're all gone? Or you're all in Saudi?
It just stays there.
Oh, you don't VRBO it or anything?
Mm-mm. Our neighborhood, you can't.
Oh.
And we had to furnish it. We had to get everything new. And I didn't want to have people staying
Aren't
in
you glad you're in a house? I mean, especially when looking at housing prices and how crazy it has gotten.
Oh, for sure. And then when COVID came and we came for the holidays, and then Saudi closed their borders, we were stuck here. We had a place.
So Jody, I mean, think about this. You are in Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
You have an opportunity, and I know you guys do this. You go visit other countries when you have some time off,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've seen a lot of the world. I mean, here's this Idaho girl that
never left the country.
Never left the country, and then you end up going to Saudi Arabia. Your husband has this crazy idea. Let's go fly for Saudi Arabia 5 years. I can retire and be done. And next thing you know, he is running the company. I'm just going to say it.
He wishes. Or they wish. They wish.
You could go anywhere in the world. You come back to the Boise area?
I come back to my roots. I mean, I'm an Idahoan. I was born in eastern Idaho, but generations.
What part of eastern Idaho?
Idaho Falls.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Don't want to live over there?
My husband would love to.
You would?
Yes. He wants to get out of here because it's so busy now, and I don't want to be pushed out of my own. I'm like, I am not going to get pushed out of my own state, even though I don't like the busyness and so many wrecks now, and it's just too busy. But I still like all the things there are to do on this side, and I like the weather. Weather's
better.
Eastern Idaho, I can't handle the wind and long, gloomy winters.
Yeah.
But our family's all there, and my husband he loves snow, and he loves skiing and snowboarding.
Well, the outdoor stuff in eastern Idaho is just amazing.
It is.
I mean, I love the fall in eastern Idaho, but I don't know that I could live there. Yeah, the winters are pretty brutal, which we truly are in a banana belt area here. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really nice. The Saudi Arabia, and I really don't know, does it have like mountainous regions? Mm-hmm. Oh, it does?
It does. And that is what is amazing. So one blessing from COVID is normally people, when they get a vacation, we want to leave the Middle East. We don't want to stay there. Mm-hmm. But when we were stuck there for a while, we were able to explore Saudi. And there are so many wonders. And it's really neat because it hasn't been explored really. Let's see, it's about 2 years ago, maybe 3, that they started letting people actually come in to visit. Because you have to be a worker, and only your immediate family can come visit.
Oh,
after
wow.
background checks, and now they're letting, like, you could go now. And before it wasn't that way.
Did everyone have to get vaccinated?
Yes. Well, not everyone. My daughters didn't. It was like 12 and older had to. So I waited till the very last minute with my boys going back to see if they would change it, and they didn't. So my boys, unfortunately, are.
But I mean, they made it a mandatory, right? That
yes.
Everybody.
And you know what's interesting? At my son's school, one of the counselors has cancer. A girl that goes to my church in the other camp, though, so she's in our stake. Sophomore, diagnosed with cancer. My son's friend, he's Indian. He just got diagnosed with cancer. There was one other person, cancer, all around the same time. They're all vaccinated. I'm like, is there a correlation? There's got to be. But it is bad air quality and water, so it could be environmental as well.
You look at the evidence and you go, how could all these people, and they all got vaccinated, but yet everyone got vaccinated. Would they have had the cancer?
Exactly.
But here's what we're finding is that people are getting, well, the way I look at COVID, everything that we could have done wrong, we did wrong. Everything. Making everyone get vaccinated. The vaccination itself was not... When in history of, all of history, we created a drug and then we gave immunity to the companies that that made all of the money off of COVID. They made more money than I think on any other drug in all of history, and yet they got total, their liability was zero.
Exactly. And again, I'm not anti-vax. My kids are vaccinated. It's when it is a brand new vaccine and you don't know the side effects. It's so new, and it's a propaganda. They make it political, and I think if you've had COVID, why do you need it? Because you're already...
The problem is that you got, I think, at least for me, I was very pro-vaccination. And then I watched how the government dealt with this, and I got vaccinated because I was like, okay, this is, the WHO says this, the CDC says this. This is what our own government is saying, and I've always believed it. And then you start seeing the reports, and then you start really delving in. And I'm sorry, I'm never going to ever
trust them.
I will never trust the government again.
No.
And I don't care what comes down, even if it starts killing a lot of people, I will really be hesitant because I don't trust what our own government did. I think Fauci was the biggest liar that we've ever seen in government. And you start realizing what they did to us. And then it's almost, the way I feel is, I could see it in a country like Saudi Arabia. I could never see that in the United States.
And that's the thing, too, is America, we are the country that everybody looks up to and wants to be like. And so they follow our lead.
Yes.
And I also heard, and I don't know how true it is, because you can't believe anything. And I actually do believe this, though, that the doctors were getting paid incentives if they could vaccinate their patients, get them vaccinated. So I think that's not right.
But what was you have to think, who in government made it a decision? No, in all of history, that we've never made people have to do something in the U.S.
Right, we're a free country,
yeah,
right?
But when did that change?
I know.
It really did change. And I think what was the latest that I saw, 70% of the nation got vaccinated. But they're still encouraging vaccinations. In fact, they're still encouraging vaccination all the way up to the 6 months olds. That makes no sense. And so it would be a very, very difficult thing for me. I feel bad because I talked my parents into getting vaccinated. And now, if there was a age group that potentially it was a benefit for, it was them. Mm-hmm. But if you were a healthy, I look at somebody like Joe Rogan and I agree with him, and he's like, I'm not getting vaccinated. He was healthy. He got COVID, and then he was vilified because he still didn't get the vaccination. The best immunization is getting COVID.
Yep.
And now he actually had immunity in comparison to a false immunity, which was just anyways, keep me going.
I know. I agree with everything you're saying. With the same thing with the elderly. And I also think it should be your own decision. If you feel like you need to get it, then get it, but don't push other people into getting it.
The one good thing about COVID was it showed the true nature of the leaders that supposedly lead us. If you look at countries like Canada, New Zealand, Australia, places that we thought were free, they weren't.
No.
New Zealand was horrible to its citizens. Australia was horrible. The U.S. was bad, but we had 50 different experiments. We had Florida that said, you know what, we're going to let you be free, and they did great. And then you had states like New York and California that really did horrible, and their leaders did something completely different. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. But we have such a short memory in the U.S., and a lot of people just forget that.
Mm-hmm. See, so with California, it's other things as well, not just the vaccine, what they're controlling. So with all the Californians that move here, I don't blame them. It just makes it hard for us, right? Because the increases of cost.
Well, at one point, we were getting a new patient from California every single day. every single day as a new patient. And I said the same thing to them.
They're Americans. I mean, we really should be able to live wherever we want, but it just really affected us, the locals. They couldn't afford it.
It did, but when they came in, and I would say the same thing to them, is I would say, you know what, we welcome you, but realize why you left. Mm-hmm. And they would go, oh, no, we really do. But then what I want to keep saying is, and make sure and teach your children that.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't matter. You'll have to look at areas like Montana, Colorado. Their states are changing because of the people that have moved there, and they brought their children, and then the children think that, with their own ideals. It's frustrating, but growth is going to happen.
It is.
And guess what?
It just came so fast. But
the secret's out. Boise is.
I know.
And the
it
Treasure
really
Valley
is a great place.
It really is. Yeah.
But we want to keep it that way.
So when do you go back?
Mid-August.
That's not very long.
No. I'll be back, though, in the fall. Just myself.
Oh, just
for
you?
For a couple weeks. Yeah. I did it last year. So when Bridger was going on his mission, I got to spend 1 week with him by himself.
Nice.
1 week with Braxton. And then I went on a cousin vacation.
Do you feel safe when you're in Saudi?
Yes.
That's one nice thing, right?
I do. The only thing I don't feel safe about is the driving out of camp. It is.
Do you have your own car?
We do.
Okay.
And we had it shipped from the U.S. That was one thing I said I want. We have a Yukon XL. I wanted the biggest vehicle with airbags because the Fords there, we're not Ford people anyway, they come from...
Who should be a Ford person? I mean, come on. I know. Yeah, really. Found on road dead. I mean, let's get real.
They come from other countries, like Taiwan, I want to say, and so they don't have airbags. So if you want them, the people in Saudi, they'll install them. And I wouldn't trust that. So I knew it came from Texas, and that's what we drive. It's held up well because I don't want to buy a new one.
Is gas cheap?
Yes. Gas is dirt cheap.
Like what?
Oh, great. I don't know because I don't even fill my gas. Because we have a gas.
Goodness.
They have a gas guy too. He stays out at the... I know. They have something... I am not kidding when I say the Saudis. It's like they have people just picking up after them left and right. You'll see like McDonald's bags out in the road because they just chuck it out the window and people will have to clean up after them.
There's so many people that are listening to this that are going, why wouldn't you want all of that? And yet you want to come back and pump your own gas and do your own.
Yeah, it would. I mean, it is nice. It is nice.
That's the good.
Except it's not nice because it is nice to have somebody do my dishes and clean my bathroom. But then I feel like, what's my purpose? I'm a stay-at-home mom. And sometimes I feel like I lose my purpose where I'm not working there and my kids are all in school. And it's just it's a very slow-paced life. Although we're right by the beach. My kitchen window faces the beach. It's really nice. And so I like to walk the beach or we paddleboard and it's very smooth. It's not really wavy.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's just a very laid back. It'd be a great retirement place. We drive golf carts because it's just a tiny little camp. And when my mom came to visit, she's like, oh, I would love this. Because it literally is like, it would be an awesome retirement place because it is so laid back and warm and
Is there
small.
people that go there? I mean,
nope. So you can only work there until...
It's not like you can just immigrate to Saudi Arabia.
You can't. And you cannot get... So if you have your baby there, they will not be a citizen. You know how like if someone has a baby here, they become a citizen? Not there. So it's only Saudis are citizens.
And their borders are really easy to cross, aren't they? Just kidding.
Have I crossed? We go to Bahrain. Have you heard of Bahrain?
Yeah, but you don't have immigrants coming across the borders
in
droves.
No. They really screen people, and that's why I feel like it is safe. Although obviously you have even the Saudis, they'll be like the terrorist groups.
Right.
But I think the reason why crime is down there, it's not high, because if you go to prison, if your family isn't near, you don't get fed. Your family has to bring you food.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And it's still like the cut off a hand. They have beheadings still for the horrible people that commit horrible crimes in Riyadh. There's a little corner that they do it on every Friday. Friday's their Sabbath day. So.
And they have beheadings every Saturday?
Well, maybe it's not every Friday anymore. It used to be more, but they still have them. So like one was last year, they maybe 80 beheadings. And rumor has it, if expats are there, they will try to push you up to the front of the line because they want you to be right up close. And they actually train. It's like a family.
Have you seen one? Have you
No.
been there? Okay.
My son wanted to. We were in Riyadh visiting, and he's like, it's Friday. Let's go see if there's a beheading. And I just think that's something you would never get out of your...
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but they're trained for it. They get paid, and it goes down a family line. They get trained with a special sword to
do the whacking.
Mm-hmm. But crime is low. I can leave my purse in the grocery cart and walk away.
Oh, yeah. You could probably do that in certain areas in Treasure Valley, but you'd be a little nervous. Try that in Detroit. Chicago. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting... I mean, I'm used to it now because it's been for so long, so I'm probably forgetting some things that were shocking to me at first that is just normal to me now. I still am not used to the Friday Sabbath day, though, because it goes... Sunday is the start of the work week. So Sunday through Thursday, the kids have school and work. And then, Friday the Sabbath day, and then Saturday is your regular Saturday. And apparently they're trying to change that because for the stock market. Dubai just changed it. It was the same way.
So if you had your way, money was no issue. How soon would you just say, we're done?
Right now, today, for sure. I miss America. We are so lucky. I feel like people that take America for granted and want it to be changed, and it's like they need to go live somewhere where you don't get to choose.
It's great. So you've been all over. If you couldn't live in the U.S., where would you live?
We love Italy. I love Italy.
Oh, I do too. What part of Italy?
My husband and I went to a place called Stresa.
Where's that?
And it's north of Milan. And it's just it's a beautiful community. There's islands in the middle, and it's not touristy. So you kind of get to immerse in the Italian life, and it's a very laid back.
Is it like lakes, or it's not on the ocean?
It's a big lake. No, it's a lake.
Right.
And there's 3 islands. One has a castle. One is all flowers and trees that this princess from years ago, they imported from all over the world. And then one's a restaurant, and it was beautiful. But I think you're going to like this one too. Scotland was probably
Yeah, but
really.
Okay. I love Scotland. It's gorgeous.
The weather.
No, the driving.
Oh.
The driving was awful.
We had a taxi, but...
Okay, that's why. You had a taxi. No, I was driving. Okay, you people don't understand. You're driving on the wrong side of the road, right? Okay, that's one thing. You get over that fairly quickly. Your brain starts to just figure that out. What I can't figure out is that you've got a car that's, I don't know, what is it, 56 inches or 60 inches wide. And at 60 inches, the roads are 60 inches. There is no leeway. And so, in fact, I had a patient tell me that she rode the bus. And the buses are normal, big buses. And she goes, yeah, I can't tell you how many mirrors we saw clip off cars as they were going by each other. Because you try to hug the line, and they got this little curb in the country, and you're hitting that curb constantly. And so, oh no, and you're going. So I thought everything would be in kilometers. So I thought, okay, we'll be going a little bit slower. No, everything's the metric system except miles per hour. What the heck is wrong with them? That's just weird. Now it's miles per hour. You're going 60 miles per hour because you want to keep up with traffic, and you got to go and you're going around these corners, and next thing you know, you got a bus coming right at you. It's the scariest driving I've ever done in my life.
So Italy, you don't feel like the streets were really narrow?
Italy was...
And you have to have tiny cars because
But you're on the right side of the road, and you're in tiny cars.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. And so you're on the correct side of the road. We got in a really bad accident, though, in Italy.
I heard about that.
Yeah. We were 10 minutes from the airport, and this huge truck slammed us into this, it's like toll booths. They slammed us into the toll booth, and all 4 wheels came off the ground. Airbags went off. There was smoke in the air. I got burned on my neck, and we were completely trapped. And and my wife is just freaking out, screaming, "Are you okay?" And I'm just, in those moments, I get really focused. And so I don't hear everything. I'm just focusing on what is it. And I realize, okay, we're okay. And then we start hearing all of this. It was like this intercom in Italian, like yelling at us. We have no idea what they're saying. And it was the rental car company. And it was in the car. And they were like, are you okay, in Italian? And then people were running at us, and we were there for like 3 hours. And
so did you miss your flight?
luckily, we had booked a hotel room at the airport that night.
Oh, okay.
So it was a stressful time.
Yeah.
And car was completely totaled. And so what I was worried about was they asked us if we wanted full coverage when we were filling it. I never get full coverage. And so I thought, well, because my credit card is going to cover it.
That's exactly what we do.
Yeah. Well, guess what? That's everywhere in the world except 2 places.
Oh, really?
New Zealand and Italy.
Well, I better tell Paul because he goes to Italy every 6 months for training.
Italy is the one place you get full coverage. Well, come to find out, what they require you to have at least partial coverage. So it's just part of it or full coverage. We didn't get the full coverage, but I don't think it was we ended up not getting charged anything for it.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, yeah. But it was bad.
Wow.
It was really bad. So
scary in another country.
Florence is my favorite city. I love Florence. Florence, there's a whole bunch of places in Italy, though.
Yeah, and I haven't been to Florence. Paul has. I want to. I want to go to Tuscany as well.
Yeah, well, that's close to Florence.
Yeah.
But the thing about Florence, their steaks.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even think I would think about eating a steak in Italy. It's pizza and pasta every day.
This is the craziest thing about Italy. And if you notice this, you walk the streets of Italy in the morning, what do you see? People out there, they got their little cappuccinos and their little coffees. And then they have these huge croissants. That's what they eat for breakfast. And then for lunch, they're eating pasta and pizza.
And they're big servings.
They're huge servings, right? That's what they're eating for lunch. And then dinner, they're eating these massive steaks with, all the fixings, and then dessert. And they're eating, and they're skinny as can be.
They walk everywhere.
It's not
and
just
it's not, I think it's the process as well.
The gluten.
Yep.
The gluten's different.
Yep.
I really think that's what in our group, there was a guy that was gluten intolerant, and he just couldn't eat gluten. But he could eat all the gluten he wanted. My
cousin's daughter is the same. She's in Spain for the summer for college. She has celiac, and in Spain, she can eat it.
Fauci must be over our gluten.
Exactly.
Fauci's over our gluten. That's the problem. Fauci, Biden. Anyways, any questions you want to ask me?
I know everything about you already.
I know.
I don't know.
So that wasn't that hard, was it?
No.
It was very enjoyable. Thank you for being
You're
a part
welcome.
of this. Yeah. You're working for me now.
Yes. I love it. I just want to do it all. I want to do everything.
You're awesome. Thank you, Jody. You've been great.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day and good luck in Saudi. My hopes and prayers for you are that you'll be back I'm going to give you 3 years.
And then I can work full time?
Absolutely.
Okay.